Hello.
Hello together.
Hello together.
This is Fun with Relux, episode 27.
We have today a topic which is not really new. We are talking about the import of 3D objects, handling of 3D objects. It was also existing in the previous versions, but with the new version, which is actually as a beta version available for you, we have expanded this functionality in various ways, and I guess this is very interesting for you to see what is there now possible.
Yes. Yeah, we had already an episode about 3D modeling in Relux. This was about how we can do 3D models inside Relux. There's a couple of tools which makes it possible to do 3D modeling in a, let's say, in a basic mid-sized way inside Relux Desktop by some primitives, by combination, subtraction, addition, and so on. So we can do a lot. But if you have your hands on a real 3D modeling application like Blender, for example, you know there's a lot of more potential options and functions to create 3D models. And Relux Desktop is not in first line and 3D modeler. It's a lighting calculation application, and the 3D modeling is just an side part in a way. But with the new imports, it's possible to extend the interface to real fancy modeling applications and to have a workflow across applications. And it's also good that we have specialized applications for something like 3D modeling, because we cannot have it in one application at all. It's good that we have a diversification of different applications, that you have a professional 3D modeling application, professional lighting design application, and a professional visualization application, for example. And we try to do the interfaces right and left better to have a better interaction with other applications. So today's episode is more about how can I do 3D modeling outside Relux Desktop and how to integrate it back into Relux Desktop, or if I have already some external libraries for 3D models, how to bring them into Relux Desktop. Yeah, and for this we have again a lot to show again, and so this means we switch to the screen sharing mode, and you can see now
here I have here prepared a standard desktop project, just with a simple exterior scene with a small floor. And before we go deeper into this new functionality, we want to show the way, or when you start with Relux and you want to use not only the standard products like these primitive cubes or something like that, you have the possibility here to insert 3D object from our own library. You can go here to load from ReluxNet, and there you will find our own library with 3D object. These are this Relux with 54 families, which includes, for example, here chairs and so on. Here at that point, this is not really new, just to remember that this is one way to get in some more attractive 3D objects. And here is new that we have here a new, it's here under the manufacturer. Oh, I realized we should switch to English, sorry.
By the way, we have already 1,000 3D objects now in our repository. So it's also something great that we have 1,000 products, and also one of the reasons why we switched to online. It was in the past included into the setup of Relux Desktop, but we switched it to ReluxNet because it's just a lot of 3D objects with a lot of space, and you do not want to pack it in the setup. That's why we have it outsourced to a website, and now we have reached 1,000 products. And if you have some 3D objects you want to see in this repository, if you want to have your objects, your own created 3D objects, or if you have found some objects which we can use from a legal aspect, so it must be following the copyright standards, so that's going to be published, then please send us your file, send us your 3D objects, and then we are able to put them also to this repository to let it grow. And if you have a model, which might be interesting for other lighting designers. If you are willing to share, of course, then it would be nice to have it.
Yes, and also we want to show you here on this side that we have now also let's say a manufacturer, but it's not a manufacturer. It's created in the collaboration with Deutsche Bahn, the German railway. And we have here, you will find here a lot of objects which are used inside of the railway stations and so on. And this can be used here in the similar way as we know it, as you know it from the traditional objects. I can use here the drag and drop, and to this one, and to drop these objects into my scene, and I can use it similar. We can do this, but you will find there is a really attractive objects here with the chairs and with this information table, and this will also be used from the planners from Deutsche Bahn in various planning situations and so on.
Yeah,
and there was a collaboration that allows us to use this to publish these objects also in our ReluxNet, so that our user can use this inside of Relux. Okay, but now we will go to that what is new, what has changed.
The new import.
The new import.
It's not a cube.
No, I want to.
You have to click the cube twice to open up the import.
No, I just want to remove this cube. Okay. Therefore, also in the historical, we have here this section import on the backstage. In the top, there are the scene imports. This is a little bit something different, but here. And on the first view, it seems that we have reduced the possibility of import, because in the past there was 3 buttons, one for the 3DS, one for DXF, and one for YRML import. And now we have here a new kind of dialog. And this dialog now allows you to, just a moment, please. We have here now, when you take a look to here, much more possibilities. Not only 3DS, we have here also the possibility 3DS, OBJ, Collada, OBJ, FBX, and DVG. And also there is now, we'll go now to the switch to this FBX folder, for example. FBX is a little bit
it's an Autodesk format.
No, it's not really Autodesk. It's owned by, handled by Autodesk, but it comes from. It should a little bit replace the 3DS as the standard format for exchanging 3D objects from one program to the other. When we click now on such an object, in the past there was, you have to import it already in your Relux scene, then what you will see what you get. And if it was wrong, you have to delete it. Now we have here the possibility, we have here now a preview of the 3D object, which will be which is selected and will be later then imported. You will also see, this is also happen very often, many of these 3D objects that you will find in the internet will be created for the gaming industry, for gaming reasons and such things. And therefore we have sometimes a problem, because they often use different coordinate systems. In Relux, we're using the standard coordinate system as it is used in technical things, in CAD systems. That means that the ground is the epsilon plane, XY plane, and Z is the vector up. In many games, the Z vector is in the deep, and the XY is the monitor. If then such as an object comes, you have now the possibility here to change the orientation, as well as you have here now the possibility to set the correct settings for the units. So in this example, now this human person is a little bit high, with approximately 75 meters height. And this is also happening often, that this comes from the United States or something like that. And there is, 254 is the scaling between meter and yard, or yes.
So we can scale it here.
And when we scale it here, so now we have the correct scaling of this person, and we can put it into our scene, and then we have here this object which we can use in our scene. We have also the possibility now to go here. Here is also the possibility to import a 3D object. This will open the same
dialog.
And as I told, or as we told, it is not only possible to import FBX or 3ds. It is also possible, for example, here this OBJ relative is very useful.
Yep. This is open,
and it is open. And here we have also. Here, this is the same. This lady has the same problem. I have to change the orientation. We can also use, if they are linked correctly, textures.
Textures, yeah.
This is one of the.
This is a new step for us to having textures simple and easy in application for 3D imports. It was also possible in the past. It's nothing really brand new, but it's now more easy. We have a better communication with the UV mappings. So this is now more easy, and we have a lot of better results in using textures, not just on OBJ, also on the other formats, on FBX, for example. It's possible to use all kinds of textures. I cannot say all textures. This is depending a lot on the texture format and UV maps and so on. So this is a really deep topic. We have a lot of the common textures work well, but there are still some strange texture formats or strange picture formats which we cannot interpret. But this is normal to all the applications.
Yes, and on various applications, they have different definitions and very often very different kind of bitmaps used. And so it may happen that you will have a little bit trouble with these textures. Okay, so this works in that way, and also, which is a little bit interesting, in the past we have the DXF and format from Autodesk, but in the DXF files there must be face-orientated meshes only can be handled. New is now that we have also the possibility to import DVG files as well. That DVGs or DXF files may include solids. So sorry, this I cannot switch the language here in things, but this is a 3D solid, this sphere and this cube. Sorry. And we have also the possibility to import them now directly into our Relux scene. Sorry. And we can also edit into our scene.
So solids are new. DWG is also new, a new import, which is great to have.
Yeah.
It's without any conversion. You can put it directly your 3D CAD plan design into Relux.
This was in the past also possible with our plugin for AutoCAD. That there you have the possibility and also the advance that you can copy it over the clipboard from AutoCAD into the Relux scene. But now, without this plugin, you have also the possibility to store a file and import this into the project. So this is the standard import. This works with standard objects like persons, chairs, tables, and so on, but it works also fine for huge scenes and complex buildings or complex geometries and so on. And here I want to show you, I don't know if anybody of you has seen the last episode with the Enscape. And for that, I want to create a new empty scene with a little bit a larger standard area.
Yeah. So there's also a lot of websites where you can download and use free 3D models. and there's a couple of sites which offers a mixture of free to use and also for a charge to use models. So there's there's a lot of pages, and we have found one page where I have downloaded and Church, so incomplete Church, for free. It was public available. Also the license was nice to use it freely for everything. Yeah, you can use it without any royalties. So there's a lot of interesting pages and sources for these objects where you can find a lot of interesting models for your designs. So yeah, maybe you need not in church, but maybe you need some buildings, maybe you need some rail tracks or whatever, or indoors, of course, a lot of desks or interior objects, just to visualize your scenery in a way. And yeah, this is exactly the church which I used to demo the new real-time rendering functionalities. And you can see here, even a large object with a lot of tree angles, a lot of details in geometry can be used quite easy, quite fast in the new Relux desktop as an OBJ, as an open format. It also works with textures. So this model has also textures with it in a huge folder with a lot of pictures. But I did not it run to use the textures. I tried a lot. So I have here put my own textures on it. So all the textures from this model are done by myself. You have access to all the single elements of this church, and then you can run in real-time rendering. And this is a new feature of our new beta version of Relux Desktop. It's a short beta period. You can access the beta by the what's new field. We can show it after this. And with this Relux beta, you have the opportunity to use Enscape directly out of Relux, and then you can visualize your design, and you can look around this design, move the camera, bound it, combine it with Relux or independent. So now we have here an independent camera movement, and yeah, you can have so and better immersing feeling about the scenery. And you can also change the daylight settings, which is also quite impressive. So this is the night vision. You can see here down below the time which you can set. So this is a nice feature with the new beta. And but the beta period will be, I hope, over by next week. So by next week we will switch the beta version to the normal standard version, which in release, which has the version number 2024.1. By hopefully next week, but depending on the beta situation. At the moment, it works quite smooth. So we have less bug reports on the beta version, which makes me promising to have it public available by next week. But maybe we can show where to access the beta version.
Yes,
so yeah, with the what's new field.
Closer, you will find it when you start the standard Relux. You will find here in this what's new. There you will find also a link for downloading the beta version. Yeah, actually, you can install it parallel to your existing, so they are running independent from each other, so you can work with your well-known program
release version. And there's also the search is included, just to show it fastly. If you downloaded the beta and installed the beta version, you can go to help, go to sample projects, and here you have exactly this project file with the church, and you can give it a try without doing the job of creating the scenery. You can just jump into the visualization and check it out if it's something interesting for you. Also, GLF is included in this new 3D object import and some other stuff which is inside the beta. But hopefully next week we have not the beta anymore, then we have the release version of the next version. And yeah, that is something new for desktop. It's also the first really public beta test we have done because we have a lot of major changes in this version. So we decided to have a couple of days in public beta outside. Good. The next thing we want to show you is if you have the possibilities or the skills to use something like Blender, we can recommend Blender as a free of charge. It's a free to use application where you can do really deep down 3D objects. You can create and model all kinds of objects with a lot of tools. Beside the built-in tools, which are quite enough to do a lot of 3D modeling, you can also have a lot of plugins in Blender, a lot of scripting. It's possible to connect it with something like Dynamo to have it also your designs automized. So it's a lot of interesting stuff, and also for free. This is interesting. And if you have access to Blender models, so for example, the scenery we have not built, I found this 3D model also on the internet, available for free. And here, for example, I want to have this tree. The tree is looking nice to me. I want to have this tree combined with my church. And here it's possible in Blender out of the shelf to download, and not to download, to store, to export this tree as an FBX, OBJ, Collada.
Here you will also have a lot of possibilities. For example, the problem I told you before, in which coordinate system this object will be created. Here you have already in the export already the possibility to switch this to an CAD useful coordinate system where the set coordinate axis is going up. You have also the possibility already to use the correct scaling and some for the export and much more. It is a little bit hard to learn what is possible with a program like Blender, but for those of you who are interested in such things, you have a lot of possibilities now to make your projects in Relux much more attractive.
Yeah.
And afterwards, after you have exported it, then you can here. Also, you will also find here in the import the possibility
to import this tree.
To import this tree. Oh no, it's here in the scenes. Sorry. So,
I wanted to say that the import of stuff is also from, if you have sources from the internet, free objects. I have to say it's also complicated with textures again. So it's not easy to get the textures with the models. And if you have the models, it's also not simple to connect this, because this comes in separate folders. You have to follow the correct path to the textures and so on. And in OBJ, the textures are always separated in a separate folder with separate MTL file. In FBX, you have the option to put the textures with the model in one file. This works better, I have to say. So if they have the option to download an FBX, this might work better than OBJ. But in OBJ, on the other side, on the other hand, you have the option to go down into this file and change the paths by yourself. So this is more easy to manipulate or to correct things or to put a correct path on it. And in FBX, it works initially better, but the manipulation is not so easy as in OBJ. Yeah, and here we have the tree out of our Blender scene in Relux Desktop, and this is a nice workflow to have. Any object you can visualize in Blender, you can also use in desktop. In a way, we have 3 or 4 combined formats which we can exchange between each other. This is great. And also one interesting use case is the use of AutoCAD. There was an use case in the past. I have to do a lighting design for a stadium. And the stadium, I have got this 2D drawing. This was my input. I have got this this stadium, and I wanted to have this this how it calls in English, this tribune. I don't know which is the English word for this, but this curve where the people can sit or stand on it. And this something like this, some bended extrusion volume objects. This is really hard to model in Relux. So we have in Relux this extrusion volumes. This is easy, but not in bended extrusion. And I was knowing in AutoCAD, I have this option. In AutoCAD, this is possible to extrude or to swipe an 2D object according a curve. So I just take an 2D curve polyline from the 2D drawing, which I get, and also just created this small triangle, and then I can swipe with 2 clicks this 3D object, copy it to the other side, and now it's possible to import this 3D objects into Relux Desktop quite easy, and then you have your objects directly in Relux Desktop without the painful job to create this kind of objects, this more organic or curved objects in Relux Desktop.
Okay, here we must say you have here to import twice. The first, you go from import as a CAD drawing, or in the beginning, you will start here with your project for exterior scene with a CAD plan. This makes the 2D drawing, which are here the lines under this. We can hide this. So this is just the 2D, and then you make a second import for the 3D objects, which may lie in the same file as the 2D drawing.
Yeah.
And then we will have also this 3D information from the DVG file.
So import the same model twice, once as 3D object, once as background CAD draft, and but the integration is quite easy because they have the same origin, so you have not to move the 3D object. It fits quite well, but you have to do it twice. It's a bit of strange. Maybe we will change it in future if we allow an option by CAD import to allow 3D object, or vice versa. If we import 3D objects and we allow maybe the 2D dimensions instantly. So this is something for us to improve, but in general it works quite fine, I have to say. And in the past, where I have done this project in the past, I have a lot of conversions in between to bring this curved blocks into an 3ds object from out of AutoCAD. This was not easy. It's possible, but you need a couple of tools to do this.
Maybe one last short tip. Especially when you're working with elements from AutoCAD, from CAD drawings, they often have a real large offset in their absolute coordinates, and this may relate it to problems. Let me show this here in my small thing, and I want to import here now an DXF.
You go also the traditional way from the import, not with.
Yeah, sorry. I need a little time. So, okay, we have here, this is a small village with the correct size. But when I import this now,
it's not there.
It's not visible. It is there, but is anywhere outside of the scene. So in this situation, you have the possibility to go here to the insert point and take care that the insert point will be in the center. In the center of the bottom face is typically a good choice. So this means in the center, but on the bottom face. And then after reselecting the object, we will see that it now has an offset of about
66,000.
66,000. So 66 kilometers outside of my scene, which makes trouble with also. But if I now change here this to a useful coordinate, then I will have my village here inside of my useful area. I have to create a larger ground for such a situation, but it now works. So the step is first go to the insert point, force that the insert point will be in the center of your 3D object, and then you can change the position of this object with the normal coordinates.
Yeah, and then it's easy to make real-time rendering, and then you have a nice looking scenery out of this. Okay.
I guess
was a good tip.
At the end of our time, we will take a look to the questions if there are any.
So let's check it out.
Just a moment, please.
Yeah, we have here to open the question area. Oh, there are 2 questions at the moment. If you have questions, ask. There are just 2. So first one, Relux read also the layer in the WG, or the 3D import is just one layer? Good question. So we read the layer in a 2D import. In 3D, I'm not sure. I don't think so.
No, at the moment not, because what we are doing is when you're importing the 3D, it uses the material or the color. If you have to use the color by layer or something, this will be interpreted. But in Relux, we have not really layers, so we just importing 3D objects, but we try to import them from all layers we find. So at the moment, we have not a possibility to import just import the objects from layer A, B, C. But this may be an interesting extension for the future, that we make this available. But because I think in some situation it may be helpful to have access to the layer separately and not import a complete DVG. At the moment, you must store it in a separate. You can copy the objects from layer A in one separate file and then import this file. Then you will have only the objects from this file.
Next question: will it be possible to import an IFC to place the luminaires directly into the model? Thank you. No, at the moment we have not an IFC import. IFC is also not really an geometry import. It's more a building model, a real one. And if you want to import an building model as a 3D model, it's also something which is maybe nice for visualization, I have to say. So like the church, so this is great for a visual impression, especially with the new real-time renderer. But if it comes to lighting design in the way of evaluation areas, numbers, and hitting standards and so on, then it's better to have a building model directly into Relux Desktop. At the moment, we have for IFCs, we have just array over Revit, so you have to have a Revit version, and also our plugin for Revit, so the ReluxCAD for Revit you need to have. And then you can import the IFC into Revit. This is working quite well. And then from Revit you can go into Relux Desktop with the rooms, also with all the 3D objects and so on, with furniture. So everything is there, and then you can start. But this is the workaround. There's also the option to import GB XML, Green Building XML. This is more or less what you have in concrete. So the shell of the building plus windows and doors. So concrete plus openings in a way. This works also quite well in a structured way. IFC we have not directly in Relux available. There is let's say an alpha state of an IFC import, which is not public, and it will not soon be public, but there is let's say a start for having IFCs later in Relux Desktop available. So we need more time to make it better and to work really well. At the moment it's just in alpha state, I have to say.
Okay, next, where are the sample files? I missed the part. Okay, you will find it under help. There is a button, sample files.
Help, sample files, and also you have this video, this recording also in YouTube later on. And there's also it's not on the video. The sample files are not shown in the last episode. It's not there. It's
good. Is there a possibility of inserting a Revit model with room spaces that can auto-create scenes, etc.? This is only possible with our plugin for Revit. So it is not possible. You have also the possibility to use Revit, for example, to export geometry, for example, in an FBX file or something like that. But at that moment, you will lose the structure of the building. And for a useful planning, we need the building rooms. So if you import a complete building with hundreds of rooms as a FBX or something like that, it will not be handleable. For that reason, we have designed ReluxCAD for Revit. This is a plugin which is placed in Revit, and then you have the possibility from there to export complete room by room or complete building with the rooms and the room structure which is given in Revit.
Yep. And this is the most preferred way to bring buildings in
Yes.
it. Yeah.
So the next question is close the same, nearly the same.
How to integrate between Relux and Revit files? Could we import Relux files? Relux? No, it's more technically spoken. It's you export from Revit an RDF Relux project file. So it's this way. So with our plugin. So we need our plugin, and our plugin can convert the Revit model into a Relux project file, which you can then open in Relux Desktop. And then you can do your magic with lights, and then you Revit with our plugin is also able to read in an Relux Desktop file, an RDF file, and then you have your luminars in the Revit scene. And then you have the interface to IFC again via Revit.
Yeah.
Can we change the color or material of the imported objects?
Yes.
Yes, it's possible.
Yes, there is one interesting thing which needs to know. If you import an object, you will have one node. You can click or make a right click on it and make part select sub object selectable. Then you have the possibility to change the color or the texture of each sub object inside of the 3D model.
Mm-hmm. So that was all the questions.
Yeah.
Last chance, one more question, but it's okay. We are have a lot, we have enough time to end this episode. So
just to say, what is the next episode?
Next episode is about obtrusive light, so light pollution, spill light, all the lights which are needs to condemned, and we're going to make more functionalities in Relux to calculate this stuff according to standards. And we will show or we will discuss this standard and also the options in Relux Desktop. And maybe we have something to show new, or we have also something existing we can already show. And this is about light pollution, obtrusive light, the next episode.
Yeah.
Also
looking
fun.
forward.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
Looking forward to see you again.
Try the beta and tell us what you find about the beta. And yeah, see you next time.
Bye.
Bye-bye.